Hi, this is June Stanley. This is my EDL 856, Module 16. First of all, what I know about the problem. Mrs. Rose is a new assistant principal, and she comes to a school feeling that community involvement is really important in a school, and yet this school has a very limited program. And the principal doesn't seem to think that it's important. He doesn't think the parents are interested. He's failed at involving them in the past. He thinks that the parents don't want involvement, and when he finally does ask for a meeting with parents, only 8 people show up. They just don't agree on the school's role with the community at all. There's a lot that I would need to know. What exactly the principal do to try to get parental involvement in the past? What kind of organizations did they have? Who was involved? What kind of authority does Mrs. Rose have to implement some kind of a plan? Who are the movers and shakers of the community? What are their interests and what are the issues? What are the demographics? And what kind of strategies would be effective in promoting collaboration with the community? The problem is pretty straightforward. There's very little contact or involvement with the parents and the community members for the school. The principal is convinced that it's not going to happen. He's not interested in making it happen. And I don't think that the community members seem to think that the school is an integral part of their community. So my proposed plan of action, I combine the steps to promote involvement with the strategies to implement those steps. My step 1 is that first I would engage those 8 people that showed up at the meeting. And my strategy with that would be to sit down and talk to them, get to know them, invite them to meet with me. Step 2 would be to research the benefits of parent and community school involvement, because I'm going to need the help and support of a lot of different people, and I'm going to need concrete evidence to convince them that it's worth their time to initiate my plan. And my strategy for that is to go online. There's all sorts of articles and blogs and discussion boards that I could read. I could read books on the subject, and I could use my contacts from college and professional organizations for help. Step 3, I will write a detailed plan, and my strategy would be to use a template from a website such as Smartsheet and follow their suggestions for the plan. I need to have goals and objectives. I need action steps that are concrete and measurable. I need to know who is going to be responsible for the steps, and I need a clear timeline. Once I have a plan, then my next step is to gain the support of the principal, because he will be essential to having a successful plan. And so my strategy would be to go to him with my research and my evidence and my plan in hand and convince him that the community involvement is really important to the school. And I will also tell him that it will be my project, because I know he's not interested in being involved. I know he was frustrated and he won't have time. And so I am hoping that as I report back to him and he sees how interesting the community involvement is, that we will convert him to belief in my plan. So there will also be projects and meetings that requires attendance. And so I hope to draw him in with that. And then the last strategy for this step is to meet with the school teachers and staff and bring them on board, get their suggestions and their ideas and their help. And then finally, I would talk to those 8 parents again and help them, ask them for their help in forming a committee with students and staff to brainstorm and help me to implement my plan. Step 5 of my action plan. Once I have the support of administrators, staff, and teachers, then I need to spark the interest of the community. I need them to feel like our school has what it takes for a meaningful community partnership. We have a high commitment to learning. Our administration's involved. We welcome them with open arms, and we provide two-way communication. So my strategy is to send out a lot of information, every medium I can think of, and report on everything that has to do with the school. Have open house, ice cream socials, facilitate tours, anything I can think of to draw their interest. And I also think it would be important to make sure that teachers are sending them at least weekly updates on their academic grades, assignments, etc. So more strategies for sparking interest in the community is to speak at clubs and organizations, ask parents and stakeholders for feedback. I would just want to generate a constant flow of news and information. My sixth step is to get to know the community. And the strategy for this is talk to people, talk to organizations, send out a questionnaire asking for information, research issues in the community, find out the interest in the community, and list all the organizations and clubs, find out about the demographics, what's the average life like for the parents and the students. My seventh step is to try to now draw the community in. They should be interested, they have a lot of information, and I want the communication to be two-way now. So I would choose a community need and try to get the students and the staff to fill that need. So instead of constantly asking the community to volunteer their time for the school, I would do the opposite, and I would find something I know the community is interested in, and I would hope that our school could help fulfill the need that's there. There's all sorts of needs in communities. And so during all these actions, I would also make sure the community knows that we're doing this. I would want to make sure that they know that we are out there trying to help and trying to be an integral part of their community. So my step 8 of my plan, I want to draw the community in even closer. So the students are involved, they have a lot of information, and so I want to find out, first of all, my strategy would be to find out how, when, where do they want to meet? You know, not just something where I send it out, say, this is it, this is where we meet. I want to find out what suits them. I want to form committees that are on topics that are important to them and see if they'll join us and collaborate and brainstorm to solve them. I want to find parents that are interested in forming a PTO or a PTA and support them. I'd also involve the staff in all these efforts. And then there's a lot of interesting and fun things that parents can do with the school, like tutoring, sports activities, study groups, all sorts of different things. My final step, step 9, is to involve parents in the school at higher levels. So sports activities, tutoring, etc., those are essential, and those are great. But parents should also be involved in school site council. They should be helping write policy and deciding how we spend our money. They should be running for the school board. They should be helping us to draft mission and vision statements, and they should be involved in the accreditation process. So resolution of the issues. My resolution of the problem promotes the success of all students. There's just so much data and so many studies out there on how community involvement and parent involvement helps students, their academic success, their well-being, helps the school, and it helps the community. So National Education Association reports that there's concrete benefits from community involvement: higher grades, better attendance, they stay in school longer, they take harder subjects. And one of my favorites, New Hampshire Department of Education, when parents are involved in their education, in their children's education, the children adapt better, they go to school more, they complete more homework, they get higher grades and test scores, they tend to graduate, they go on to college, and then as far as the students' well-being, they have improved social skills, behavior, relationship with their parents. It's just, there's so many benefits to parent and community involvement in a school. And my plan would bring those changes about. The data supports these conclusions of mine. The case study shows that the school had very little contact or involvement. There was no PTA, PTO. The principal didn't believe in involvement. He didn't believe it could happen. He didn't think the community was interested in it. And so the school didn't have the benefit of all the things that can happen when you have collaboration with the community. So when I debriefed the problem, I had to reflect on my feelings. I found that a lot of frustration knowing how much a school could benefit from the collaboration and the involvement of the community, and then dealing with a principal who was not interested in it. And yet I still felt eager because I like to solve problems, and this was a naughty one, and the benefits are potentially tremendous. I did feel trepidation in asking teachers and staff to do even more work than I know they're already doing as a new administrator. But I felt anticipation as I could see the plan taking shape, and I knew how much better the school could be. As far as my thoughts, mostly I had a lot of questions. Where can I find data to support my beliefs? What strategies can I use? Who can I talk to as a resource? And I kept feeling like I must be forgetting someone or some organization. And then values, reflection on my values. I find that I really believe that children are important in and of themselves, and also for our communities and our country and our world. And schools, of course, are important because they are the ones that are nurturing and supporting and teaching these children. The communities are invaluable, and they're important resources for a school. And also, just being an administrator at a school is a grave responsibility, but it's just so wonderful because of the benefits that you can derive from it. So there's a few issues that I think need further investigation. I thought it would be interesting to look into student job shadowing because that would just deepen the relationship between the students and their community. I'd also like to involve businesses and organizations in developing some kind of a curriculum that it engages students in and out of the classroom, something like project-based learning so that students aren't constantly asking, why am I learning this? And also, I think technology should be used to expand and deepen the community involvement with the school. There's all sorts of software and hardware out there that we could look into to communicate better with the community. Standard 7. My plan promotes the academic success of every student. This is just supported by the data. I would institute a policy where teachers send weekly emails to keep parents apprised of students' academic progress. And we all know that collaboration increases a number of things that about student academic success. Research also provides evidence that increasing community involvement creates a culture where students, they take higher level classes, they more tend to graduate, they go on to college. There's just an abundant amount of data that supports this. And my plan provides for the community to increase their collaboration and their involvement. My plan also promotes the personal well-being of every student. And once again, the research shows the benefits of increased collaboration and involvement. Social skills, behavior, relationships with parents, higher self-esteem, all these things are going to help the well-being of each and every student. My plan also brings students and members of the community together, and students learn about their community, the community gets to know them, and that just enlarges their world. And a person's well-being depends on their success in the world in part, and collaboration is such an important skill to a person's success in life, and just being a part of a school and a community where collaboration is a way of life is going to be hugely beneficial to them. My plan also promotes engagements for families and all the stakeholders in the school's community. I would form committees to study topics that I know are important to the community, and I would involve community members in them. I would have policies that require members from the community to be on important committees, and I would encourage parents to be part of every aspect of the school. And in the accreditation, mission and vision statements, and I would also involve them in all the school successes and challenges. My references, and thank you for listening.